Hey friends, it's Catherine from Sacred Heart Alchemy. I'm at the park about ready to start my walk, and all of a sudden I just got this kind of whole little download thing. So I thought before it completely vaporized out of my mind, I would try to share sort of the main parts of it. So bear with me. I'm noticing there's a dog class going on over here, so there's some barking and a bunch of kids playing soccer over there. So I don't know, we'll just do our best here. So I've been writing, my last couple of posts, have been about not being defined by your story or by your trauma, not carrying it like a badge of honor, and looking for opportunities to release parts of your past that may have caused you dysregulation, distress, perhaps even dis-ease. And as I was driving here and sitting in my car for a few moments, just kind of taking a breather because it was a long day today, I just had this imagery come to mind. And this is not at all to minimize any experience you may have had, to suggest that it's always simple or easy, right, to kind of walk away from our past and not let it define us. But I'm just going to invite you for a moment to put those beliefs, those thoughts, maybe even some resistance that you might feel as I'm speaking these words, to just consider the fact that when an actor is playing a part, he or she knows that they're playing a part, right? Whether it's for a one-night routine or whether it's a play or a series or a show that runs for years on end. They take time to develop the character, right? And they really get into it. And as they, particularly in a longer running show, live or, televised, they really develop the character over time. And all the while, they understand that they are not that character. Well, if they have good mental health and boundaries. I mean, certainly we've heard stories about actors who have gotten so far into their character that it, in fact, has created some emotional or perhaps even mental health instability. But for the most part, people who act understand that they're stepping into a role. They're putting on different clothing. They might gain or lose weight. They might have facial hair or not facial hair, right? They are playing a part in a play or in a movie. And at the end of the show or at the end of the series, whatever it might happen to be, they step out of that part and step back into their, air quotes, real life. They make the distinction about what's them and what's not them. And they don't become defined by the role that they have played. So I'd like to invite you to just consider whether or not you could imagine your life in that same way, that your soul chose to come into this role, right? I don't know whether you had to audition or not. I don't know whether there were a bunch of souls trying out for the same part, but your soul came in just like an actor comes in to a play on a stage and There's set, there's scenery, there are other people that they have to interact with. There may be people who are playing the parts of their parents or their siblings or their children or their boss or whatever it's going to be, right? There are all of these actors on the set. What if you could imagine your life, your choice to come into form on Earth as though you were stepping into a role you had auditioned for or you had been constricted into playing a particular part? And at the end of your time, one time or 1,000 times, when that part is finally complete, you take off the makeup, you take off the wardrobe, you take your final bow and say goodbye to the people who you have played parts with and been in relationship with, from the perspective of the part that you played, and you let it all go, right? You just completely let it go so that you, maybe after some time of rest, are then available to step into another part, another role, another play. So what if you could imagine your life in this way? That this very, what's the word I want to use? Transformational seems too cliche, but this really powerfully transformative time that we are in as part of this ascension process of the earth, of all of the inhabitants on the earth, may be the time to step out, unzip, take off, drop to the floor all of the wardrobe, the makeup, the characteristics, the personality, the story of the part that you have been playing up until now. What if it were that simple? What if you could just stand at the end of the play or the end of the series and say, okay, I have done my part. I've done the best that I could given the resources that I had. Everyone else here did the best they could given the resources that they had. And now it's time to leave all of this, right? As they say, leave it on the stage, right? The costumes, the script, the makeup, right? The character. And just let it go and decide that moving forward, tomorrow when you wake up, that you can literally be yourself, whatever that means. You can return to the aspects of yourself that are never changing, that don't change depending on a role that you're playing, right? Your connection to spirit, your intuition, your inner truth, your inner knowing, your divine light, none of that changes. That's the only thing that's absolute truth. The rest is like the costume, the character, the disguises, all of the things that we put on to play the part. So that's it. I'm not going to suggest what that might feel like to you, because every one of you is hearing this through your own history, through your own circumstances. But what if you could literally step outside of your circumstances and leave all of that in a pile on the floor and say, now I get to be the truth of who I am. That does not define me. That role that I was playing, that character that I was in, that personality that I took on, isn't the truth of who I am. And I get to go forward from this moment to discover who this version of myself is. So that's it. I am going to go take my walk now. It's a beautiful evening. Hey, Tori. And enjoy the rest of your evening. I hope it's beautiful where you are. And I'll see you again soon. All right. Namaste, my friends. Bye now.